Welcome to another tutorial on Matlab. In this particular tutorial series, we are looking into the concept of GUI, which is basically called a graphical user interface, and we are basically trying to understand how it works. So in the last tutorial, we took a real example, and here we will see a specific example which we will be going to implement in the Simulink Matlab environment to simulate a particular model. So the use case of this particular implementation is like you have a Simulink model. In that Simulink model, suppose you want to do change in the parameters. By changing those parameters, you can simulate the model and see how the model is behaving based on the change in the parameter. So for example, we will be designing the front end or the interface part of the GUI. Then we will be writing different functions in the back end of the GUI. So basically we will be creating multiple functions like callback functions, and those callbacks functions will be executed when the buttons are being pressed. Next, we will be establishing communication between the function workspace, which is the GUI based workspace, and we will be establishing the connection between the base workspace. So these two workspace will be connected via this communication, and we will be setting up all the relevant parameters in the base workspace for the model to run. Basically, once that communication is being done, we will be setting up the parameters for the model to simulate. Once that is done, so once all the parameters are set, then we will be simulating the model from the GUI environment by pressing the simulate button. Once we do the simulation, so once the simulation is done, we will be getting some results from the simulation. So once that result is ready, we need to do the plotting in the GUI. So at the back end, what we need to do, we need to collect all the data from the simulation, and then we will be using the GUI commands. So whatever the GUI commands or functions that are there defined in the GUI, we will be using that, and we will be plotting all the relevant plots which are somehow related to this model. Those will be clearly visible in the GUI itself. It is somehow the same thing like a calculator. You press some buttons, do some operation between the numbers, and result you can see on the same display screen. So that is how it will work. So it is not a calculator exactly, but what it will do, whatever the model that you creates or you are creating, you can analyze the model using the GUI environment by trying different inputs, like for example the mass damper system. So in that there are three components which you can change. Major component, which is the mass of the system, the spring constant of the interactive springs, and the damping constant of the interactive dampers. By changing those three parameters, how the system is behaving, that we will be analyzing in this particular series or the first example. Post to that, we will be doing some more example on the GUI Matlab. In case you are liking the channel, please consider subscribing. In case you have any comment or query, please let us know in the comment section. It will help us to improve your experience of learning Matlab. It will give us also the feedback, and based on that, we will be creating further videos. So happy learning Matlab and stay connected.